Assalamualaikum and good morning everyone. My name is Norlani Biramponi, and in this video we will discuss about the political cartoons by Alfred McCoy. These political cartoons or caricature will speak and will tell us something about the situation of the Philippines and the Filipinos during the time of American era. So, bago tayo magpatuloy sa ating topic, kilalanin muna natin sino ba talaga si Alfred McCoy. So, the real name of Alfred is Alfred William McCoy. Pinanganak siya noong June 8, 1945 in Concord, Massachusetts, United States. Ang nationality naman niya is American. His parents is si Margarita McCoy. His educational background is nagtapos siya sa Columbia University, sa Yale University, sa University of California, and sa Berkeley, and sa Kent School. He is professor of the Southeast Asian History at the University of Wisconsin at Madison, where he also served as the director of the Center of Sea Asian Studies. McCoy has spent the 30 years of writing about the Southeast Asian history and politics. His publications include the Philippine cartoons in 1985, Anarchy of Families noong 1994, Closer Than the Brothers Man, or Manhood at the Philippines Military Academy noong 2000, and Lives at the Margin 2001. After earning a PhD in Southeast Asian history at Yale, the writing of McCoy on his religion has focused two topics, and that is Philippines political history and global opium tracking. The Philippines remain the major focus of his research.
Hi, my name is Althea S. Castellan. For the context of the documents, political cartoons or caricature are rather a recent art form which varied away from classical art by exaggerating human features and poking fun at its subjects. Such art genre and technique became a part of the print media as a form of social and political commentary, which usually targets persons of power and authority. Cartoons became an effective tool of publicizing opinions through heavy use of symbolism, which is different from a verbose written editorial and opinion pieces. The unique way that the caricature represents opinion and captures the audience's imagination is reason enough for historians to examine these political cartoons. Commentaries in mass media inevitably shape public opinions, and such kind of opinion is worthy of historical examination. So to sum it up, dati talaga yung mga political cartoons and caricature is very useful kasi nga ito yung ginagamit sa pag-broadcast at sa paglabas ng mga issues about the Philippines, about corruptions, and so on. Kasi it plays an important role nga in shaping public opinion as well as sparking discussions and providing a visual representation of political and social issues in an engaging and impactful manner. So, yung Philippine cartoons and caricature yung naging way before para mapadala sa public or ma-announce sa public yung mga nangyayari sa loob ng Pilipinas or those issues na nangyayari around the Philippines, as well as political cartoons kasi and caricatures can be powerful tools for political satire as well as the critique and protest dito. Pwede ka mag-protest, pwede mong sabihin kung ano yung gusto mong sabihin through the use of mga symbols and cartoons sa pag-portray ng mga gusto mong sabihin. Those historians made use of it to gain some information na gusto nilang malaman about a specific topic or a specific person. However, just like sa reality natin, hindi talaga maiiwasan na magkaroon ng biases because some of the cartoonists is talagang merong bias, merong kung ano lang yung gusto niyang i-features, yun lang yung ipapalabas niya. So we have also to take note of that. Political caricature of the American era 1900 to 1941. Philippine political cartoons gained full expression during the American era. Filipino artists recorded national attitudes toward the coming of the Americans as well as the changing war and times. While the 377 cartoons compiled in this book speak for themselves, historian Alfred McCoy's extensive research in Philippine and American archives provide a comprehensive background not only to the cartoons but to the turbulent period as well. In this book, Philippine Cartoons, Political Caricature of the American Era 1900 to 1941, Alfred McCoy together with Alfredo Rosas compiled political cartoons published in newspaper dailies and periodicals in the aforementioned time period. For this part, we are going to look at selected cartoons and explain the context of each one. Philippine cartoons got recognized for its achievements. Some of those achievements are the Philippine Cartoons 1985, Philippine Catholic Mass Media Award, Best Book of the Year for 1985, Philippine National Book Award for History 1986 Gintong Aklat Award sa Manila, and then the Special Citation for History 1987. Let's proceed first to the Philippine Cartoons 1985. There have been several notable Philippine cartoons that were released around the 1985 time period. Here are few examples. Number 1, we have here the Voltes V, 1984 to 1985. Although it started airing in 1977, Voltes V gained immense popularity in the Philippines during the mid-1980s. This animated series follows the story of a team of pilots who control giant robots to defend Earth from invading forces. Number 2, the Daimos, 1983 to 1984. Another popular mecha anime series, Daimos, also gained a significant following in the Philippines during the 1980s. It tells the story of a young man who discovers his true identity as the pilot of a giant robot that fights against an alien race. Last example is the Bioman 1984 to 1985. This live-action superhero TV series from Japan was dubbed into Filipino and became a hit among Filipino children in the mid-1980s. It follows the adventures of a team of color-coded superheroes who battle against evil forces. Another achievement of Philippine cartoons is the Philippine Catholic Mass Media Award. Philippine Catholic Mass Media Award, or the PCPMA, is specifically focused on honoring outstanding works in the field of media that reflect the Catholic faith and promote positive moral and social values. It recognizes various forms of media including print, radio, television, film, and digital media. The awards cover a wide range of categories such as feature articles, news reports, documentaries, radio programs, television shows, films, websites, social media campaigns, and other media-related projects. The Philippine Catholic Mass Media Award serves as a platform to recognize and encourage media practitioners to create content that promotes positive values, moral integrity, and a deeper understanding of the Catholic Church. It aims to inspire media professionals to produce media works that contribute to the cultural and spiritual development of society. Another milestone is the Best Book of the Year for 1985. In 1985, there were several notable achievements in the realm of Philippine cartoons. Here are a few highlights. We have here number 1, the Super Rangers. Animated series Super Rangers was a locally produced animated series that premiered in 1985. It showcased Filipino superheroes who fought against various villains, promoting heroism and patriotism among young viewers. Another example is the Kalabog and Bosho. Kalabog and Bosho is an animated film released in 1985, was a full-length animated film that gained popularity among Filipino audiences. It featured the comedic duo of Kalabog and Bosho, characters known from Philippine folklore. Another example is the Buhawi Jack. Buhawi Jack is a comic book series created by Rod Santiago in 1985. became a successful and long-running comic series. It followed the adventures of a superhero who fought crime and protected the innocent. And lastly, we have here The Alamat ng Gubat by Bob Ong, was a graphic novel that combined humor and social commentary. It offered a satirical take on Philippine society using anthropomorphic animal characters to convey its message. These achievements in 1985 reflected the ongoing creativity and growth of the Philippine cartoon industry. They contributed to the local animation and comic book scene, capturing the imagination of Filipino audiences during that time. Next achievements are the Philippine National Book Award for History, 1986 Dintong Aklat Award sa Manila, and the Special Citation for History, 1987. These two, as well as the background of the document 1900 to 41, Philippine political cartoons gained full expression during the American era. Filipino artists recorded national attitudes toward the coming of the Americans as well as the changing mores and times. While the 377 cartoons compiled in this book speak for themselves, historian Alfred McCoy's extensive research in Philippine and American archives provides a comprehensive background not only to the cartoons but to the turbulent period as well.
Good day, I am Henady M. Alamada and I'll be going to discuss about the examples of political cartoons by Alfred McCoy with its analysis. The selected cartoons illustrate not only the opinion of certain media outfits about the Philippine society during the American period, but also paint a broad image of society and politics under the United States in the arena of politics. The first example shown was published in The Independent on May 20, 1916. The cartoon shows a politician from Tondo named Dr. Santos passing his crown to his brother-in-law, Dr. Barcelona, while a Filipino guy as depicted wearing salakot and barong Tagalog was trying to stop Santos, telling the latter giving Barcelona the crown because it is not his to begin with. Behind that depicted political cartoon is all about the price that Filipinos paid for democracy modeled after the Americans. At first, it seemed that the Filipino politicians at that time did not understand well enough the essence of democracy and the accompanying democratic institutions and processes. This can be seen in the rising dynastic politics in Tondo. The second cartoon was also published by The Independent on June 16, 1917. This was drawn by Fernando Amorsalo and was aimed as a commentary to the workings of Manila police at that period. We see a Filipino child who stole a skinny chicken because he had nothing to eat. And then a police officer was relentlessly pursuing the said child. A man wearing salakot was grabbing the officer, telling him to leave the small-time pickpockets and thieves and to turn at the great thieves instead. The deep meaning behind this is all about a patronage became influential and powerful not only between clients and patrons but also between the newly formed political parties composed of the elite and the United States. This was depicted in the cartoon where the United States, represented by Uncle Sam, provided dole-outs for members of the Federalista while the Nacionalista politicians looked on and waited for their turn. For them, the essence of competing political parties to enforce choices among the voters was cancelled out. The problem continues up to the present where politicians transfer from one party to another depending on which party was powerful in specific periods of time. The third cartoon was a commentary on the unprecedented cases of color room automobiles in the city streets. The Philippine Free Press published this commentary when fatal accidents involving color room vehicles and taxis occurred too often already. Color room is a rebel organization characterized by religious fanaticism or a member. It is also defined as illegal public transport with franchise violation in the Philippines. This explained the unprecedented increase of motorized vehicles in the city where automobiles became a popular mode of transportation in the city and led to the emergence of taxis. However, the law and policy implementation was mediocre or common which resulted in the increasing color room and unlicensed vehicles transporting people around the city. The rules governing the issuance of driver's license was loose and traffic police could not be bothered by rampant violations of traffic rules. This is the direct consequence of the drastic urbanization of the Philippine society. Next is a cartoon depicts a cinema. A blown-up police officer was at the screen saying that couples are not allowed to neck and make love in the theater. Two youngsters looked horrified while an older couple seemed amused. This is McCoy called the sexual revolution that occurred in the 1930s. It explains as early as that period how young people disturbed the conservative Filipino mindset by engaging in daring sexual activities in public spaces like cinemas. Here, we can see how the period was the meeting point between the conservative past and the liberated future of the Philippines. The next cartoon was published by The Independent on November 27, 1915, where we see the caricature of Uncle Sam riding a chariot pulled by Filipinos wearing school. Behind this is all about how police authorities oppress petty Filipino criminals while turning a blind eye on boarders who monopolize goods in their huge warehouses, presumably Chinese merchants. The last cartoon was published by Lipang Calabao on August 24, 1907, where we can see Uncle Sam rationing porridge to the politicians and members of the Progresista Party, also known as the Federalista Party, while members of the Nacionalista Party look on and wait for their turn. Behind this explains about Americans got control subjugate Filipinos and how Americans controlled Filipinos through seemingly harmless American objects by controlling their consciousness and mentality. The purpose of Alfred McCoy in making these political cartoons is to reveal some truth about the Filipino conditions, the situation of the Philippines under America, the social and political changes, and the cultural changes that transpired during the American occupation in the Philippines.
Let's proceed to the contribution and relevance of the document. Good day, my name is Queenie Y. Lalim. In the Philippines, the presence of political cartoons has been seen as early the publication of Kalayaan and La Solidaridad. It serves as a mirror of the society's colonial condition. Positive and negative changes were mirrored in the cartoons. It conveys scandals, struggles, and social changes of the American colonial period. It also serves as primers for engaging in the prevailing opinions of the time. One positive effect of the political cartoons is that it becomes the presentation of the current conditions of the country. Next is it contributes in the discovery of Filipinos' creativity in journalism and cartoons. How they use it as an act of protest or weapon in the struggle for social reform and independence. Filipino artists used these political cartoons to illustrate the changing mores and times under the American rule. And it reflected on two cartoon themes, which are the anti-American sentiments and the condemnation of the ruling class. Next is it shows an array of information and graphic images which mainly focuses on the political aspect. So through the use of political cartoons, people get to visualize politics and appreciate the representation which are within their worldview. Next is Filipino politicians did not understand the essence of democracy and the accompanying democratic institution and processes. So with the use of these political cartoons, Filipino artists shows democracy, or that people have the right to choose their rules and to choose whom they wanted to rule. Patronage become influential and powerful. Patronage is the use of state resources to reward individuals for their electoral support. It also contributes in the transition from a Catholic-centered Spanish-Filipino society to an imperial America assimilated one. It also shows sexual revolution mindset, or also known as sexual liberation, which means that everyone have sexual desires, sexual needs, and enjoys sexually explicit books, magazines, and films. And also, it contributes in showing the condition of the poor Filipinos in the Philippines. Through these illustrations, people fully understand what poverty is and the struggles of poor Filipino families in the Philippines. To sum it all up, these political cartoons showcase Filipinos' lives, mainly the political aspects of the Philippines, and is relevant so that future generations will be able to have a glimpse of the past Philippine society through these cartoons. Now, let's proceed to the importance of the documents. First, it provides an important record of the American era. They reflect the values, correlates, and important issues in the society. Second, it encourages us the process of opinion formation and decision making as well as provide entertaining perspective on the news. Third is that it represents the feelings of the people way to discuss political and social issue using arts. Fourth is the future generations will be able to have a glimpse of the past Philippine society through these cartoons. And according to my research, these political cartoons are important because it conveys messages about our countries, state, people, and political issues.